skies over Vietnam against our U.S. aircraft, such as the A-4, the A-7, F-8, B-52s, F-100s, F-105s, and primarily the nemesis of the F-4 Phantom II. You can see some great examples of that are part of the Ham Museum right behind us by the air traffic control tower. The F-4 and the F-105 are right over there, and they are some prime examples of an air-to-air opponent of the MiG-17. But during the Vietnam War and up until the F-16 entered service, the MiG-17 was the tightest turning fighter in the world. Production started in the 19th, contributed to the freedoms that I alluded to earlier, and how our country partnered with our allies, the Israelis, to learn all about the MiGs. But ladies and gentlemen, to your left of show center, the MiG-17. You can see the afterburner on both aircraft now as they pull away and begin to climb up. They're going to circle back around and give you a really good look at these two amazing aircraft. We talk about it being a very nimble fighter, and that proved deadly. Come back by from your right to your left. You'll get a great look at these two fantastic airplanes. We're going to talk more about Randy Ball and Bill Culberson. They're going to both be flying separately here later.
The MiG-17 aircraft.
A lot more about the individual pilots, but now I encourage you to just take a look, listen to the music, enjoy this special, very unique occurrence. Last year we had 3 MiG-17s, now we have 2 tonight. There are very few opportunities in the United States, ladies and gentlemen, to see 2 MiGs fly together at the same time. You're experiencing history right here in front of you. If you would, direct your attention to your right. Randy Ball, Bill Culberson, the MiG-17s.
Oh boy. Here they come.
No, I'm not in this one.
Let's go!
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's give them a huge round of applause. Is that a
Woo!
We're going to talk later about some of the specifics. You can see Randy and Bill circling the aircraft around. They're going to come this time from your left to your right. Keep your eye on them. They're going to drop down low. Randy and Bill, both aircraft pilots, have the ability to fly with a zero surface waiver. Randy's the only person that can do it day and night. Here they are from the left. Things about the MiGs and the original design started with the MiG-15, and then the MiG-17 you see before you today is the improved, advanced, bigger engine, a little bit broader airplane, and a little bit faster. But the design far from the basis when they did that. So the MiG will be fast, it's tight turning. We talked earlier about it being tight turning. Here it is from the right to the screen.
Woo! Let's get it, bro!
Has a great look at the profile of those two jets. They're going to circle back around. I think we're going to get another look at them here again. You're going to get to see Randy when he flies by himself here in a little bit. He's going to show you some more of that turning capability, how tight that aircraft can turn. And again, if you didn't catch it a minute ago, the MiG-17 was truly the tightest air traffic control tower, slightly to the left. And if you look at the tower, here comes Randy Ball and Bill Culberson. So Randy and Bill are giving you some amazing looks at all the different angles of this spectacular aircraft. You can see the sweep of the wings from the Germans. They built the MiG-15, took what they learned from that in its employment in Korea, and then they built the MiG-17. Randy and Bill are going to show you what it looks like to mow the grass here from the left. The MiG-17 with the burners on. see that anywhere else but right here at Tyler Airfest 2022. You can see we've got other aircraft taking off. We're going to get something started here in just a minute. This is our very own Stephen Covington from right here in Longview. We're going to get to hear a lot more about him here in just a minute. Spectacular takeoff by Mr. Covington. That is absolutely spectacular. His good buddy Alan Mitchell's with me here on the stand, and Alan's going to tell you all about Stephen and that fantastic airplane here.
All right, guys, we got the Pitts Raptor.
Somewhere right above us,
Stunt flight plane. Oh,
that
yeah.
Cessna 206 we saw take off a while ago. It's carrying the Remax skydiving team to about 4,500 feet. Out in front of the bird, there's a 300 horsepower engine with a 3-bladed Hartzell propeller built on honor for over 100 years. In about 10 minutes, they'll exit the aircraft and go into free fall at speeds over 120 miles per hour. Then after opening their chutes, they'll unfurl the Texas and American flags for the playing of our national anthem and the official opening of the Rose City Airfest 2022. So we are excited to get started. We can see everybody right now. The team members are climbing out, holding on to the outside of the aircraft. In about 30 seconds, Team Captain Al Saylor will give the count and the jumpers will exit the aircraft. In free fall, the skydivers can maneuver themselves by using their arms and legs as wings, and they fly around in the sky. They'll be falling at about 120 miles per hour. That's just about 200 feet per second. If they put their hands down, they can accelerate to over 200 miles an hour. The skydivers have about 10 seconds of free fall time before they open their chutes at about 2,500 feet above the ground. The modern day parachutes are actually steerable ram air canopies designed to provide forward drive and lift, much like the wing of an airplane. As always, each skydiver is wearing 2 parachutes, both with a main and a reserve. Should the main canopy fail in any way, the jumper can cut away from the malfunctioning chute and deploy his reserve canopy. Skydivers will deploy their canopies and spiral down to unfurl the Texas and the American flags. These professional skydivers steer their own canopies with brake lines that pull down on the tail of the parachute, changing their shape so they can turn and dive the plane for landing. There we go. Look,
Oh, there it goes, there it goes. Woo!
See smoke for both the biplane and the jump plane. There are second jumpers away.
Woo!
See the free fall like we described. You can see that beautiful red, white, and blue Remax parachute opening up. We're going to watch them all free fall as they come down. We're going to watch the Texas flag unfurl. And then the last jumper out, we're going to watch for the American flag. So ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please join me at this time. If you would stand, gentlemen, remove your cover. When we see the American flag come out here in just a few seconds, we will play our national anthem while Stephen Covington circles our jumpers all the way down. So we're watching now. There's some streamers out on our lowest jumpers. We're watching them maneuver those ram air chutes that we talked about just a minute ago. There's the Texas flag, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? Go Texas. It is beautiful to be at an air show in Texas. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's have a big roar for Texas.
Yeah!
Everybody in America and in Texas, ladies and gentlemen, can you have as much fun as we're having here
Oh,
tonight?
yeah.
Now keep your eye on the American flag. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please join me in singing. 3,500 jumps is from Granbury, Texas. He's been jumping since 1977. We call him Crazy Legs, and I think you'll see when he lands just a second ago. Chris Wade from Beaumont, Texas, over 4,200 jumps. Chris is the tandem instructor, so he can take you for a ride. Al Saylor has the Texas flag. And with the American flag, it's Mike Nugent from New Caney, Texas. When Mike's not jumping, he serves his country as a range officer for ICE, the Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement, a division of the Department of Homeland Security. The Redneck Skydiving team is proud to open the show.
From Longview, Texas, Mr. Stephen Cummington and the Pits H2S Raptor. Right down the center. Watch to the top of the tower. Check this out. He's going to hang the plane right off the top. And folks, this is just a taste of what's to come later on in the show. As the Raptor turns around for Charlie Hillard's football. Looking at nothing but Texas terra firma. Here we go. Another hard pull, ladies and gentlemen. This is a purpose-built aerobatic aircraft. He is going to rip and tear the Texas skies up. Anytime it happens there. Watch it tumbles the aircraft on the
Oh, yeah.
If you want cool machines, Stephen Cummington's your man. Watch, the nose comes down, the airspeed comes up, and the Raptor comes back and
Yeah, let's go, Stephen! Woo!
big pull over to the right. He's coming inward and slowing the aircraft down. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the E-brake. Listen to that long-wave propeller screaming on the front of the Raptor.
Hey, thanks, Alan. Man, what a performance. Ladies and gentlemen, how about another hand for Stephen Cummington and Alan Mitchell?
Yeah!
We are so excited to have you on that set. That's our hometown right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're excited to have him here. But man, it has just started. We have so much more in store for you. And we do have an airliner that's going to operate here in just a minute. And we want to give them time to take departure and head their way. All sponsors that help us put on this air show.
Eagle, yeah.
Vincent M, Greenslade Law, the New Sound Hearing Center. There goes our American Airlines card. Right on time. Tyler Airport, one of the best on-time airports you can operate. Right here at Tyler, you can leave on time, you can arrive on time. Folks that Tyler Pound Regional Airport, where you do a fantastic job. And Thomas and the many volunteers at Camp V. Please go to campvtyler.org to find ways to help Camp V.
Let's go, Stephen!
That's what it's all about here.
Oh.
So just watch and listen to that Raptor aircraft. Watch it bring it out. Best part is we're going to get to see Roy Steven here in a minute.
All right,
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Look at that, upside down, now back down, looking straight at the ground, accelerating. Here he goes. Wow, that is absolutely spectacular. You all saw the blue aircraft depart here in just a minute. We're going to talk more about that airplane very soon. Steven's going to come back by and give us another couple good looks at this fantastic Pitts Raptor in the green and white paint job. Here he comes from your left.
oh yeah.
There he goes, inverted, ladies and gentlemen. That's Steven's wave to you goodbye for now, but he will be back along with Alan Mitchell. Let's give him one more huge round of applause.
Yeah!
On his way back to land.
Oh yeah, go ahead, you're fine.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the B-29 taxiing out. High and to your left, you see that twin-engine blue B-25 that tacks off. After Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt demanded that the U.S. military find a way to striking back directly at Japan. The only possible method was a carrier-borne aircraft, but standard naval planes had too short a range. Carriers launching them would have to sail dangerously close to Japan's well-defended coast. Instead, a special unit of the United States Air Force B-25 Mitchell bombers, far larger than naval aircraft, was trained under Colonel James Doolittle to take off from the carrier USS Hornet. They were to drop their bombs on Japan and then fly onto land in an area of China controlled by pro-Allied
500-pound bomb. Now in heavy seas secretly. Now for the test. Doolittle's plane is first down the runway. The commander leading the flight. As the carrier plows through heavy seas, one bomber after another soars from the flight deck, pointed for Japan.
Alright guys, here comes the B-25 Mitchell.
The weather worse, but not one plane fails to get into the air. Taking the gale in its teeth, each bomber sets its course for range military objectives in Japan.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, from the left, this is Devil Dog, B-25. As you heard on the audio, Doolittle and his 16 bombers took off successfully on 18 April, but their naval force had been spotted by the Japanese and they had to make the launch from 650 miles instead of the planned 400. The bombers arrived over Japan in daylight and suffered little damage from enemy action. Almost all succeeded in bombing Japanese. From the right, this is Devil Dog, the B-25. We're going to talk more about this specific aircraft here in just a second. From the right, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Beth Jenkins and Devil Dog. Doolittle Raiders were not painted dark blue like the one you see in front of us. So we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. We talked again about all the aircraft were lost with only 3 crew members. All but 3 of the Texans survived the war. One pilot, Dean Hallmark, was captured and executed by the Japanese. The brave Texans were inducted into the Texas Aviation Hall of Fame in 2001. Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of the Doolittle Raid, the B-25 from your left. Much like a B-25, that actually is a PB-1J. Now, I didn't say PB&J like peanut butter and jelly. It's close. It's a PB-J-1J, to be totally correct, right? And it's known as Devil Dog. The ships in the field. Crew chiefs started adding more 50 caliber guns to the glass nose bombardier positions for attack. Upon learning of this, North American engineers designed a solid nose armed with up to 8 50 caliber machine guns, a radar nose with 4 50 caliber machine guns, and the H model had a 75 millimeter cannon. Look for that nose as Beth brings the airplane across from the left. PBJ squadrons made it overseas before the war ended in the Pacific. 26 PBJs were lost in combat and 19 were lost in operational accidents while in the combat zone. Devil Dog represents the number 3 ship of VMB 612 Squadron. The number 3 ship, PBJ stories, little known fact of the Pacific Air War. VMB 612's primary mission was night interdiction of enemy shipping. The PB-1Js had radar noses and navigated by the stars. Nose art was not allowed for fear the moon would reflect on the nose art and reveal the aircraft's position. Here now, Beth Jenkins and Miss Ashley Shelton, an all-female crew up front, demonstrates a strafing run from the PB-J.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Tonight with Beth Jenkins, who's the commander, and pilot Ashley Shelton is in the right seat. Back in the back, Rob Chalmers and John Jackson are with them tonight. They are the crew of Devil Dog tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to circle around to your left. They're going to circle behind the air traffic control tower. This will be your best opportunity to get a fantastic picture of this beautiful aircraft. They are going to come from your right to your left. This will be the photo pass from Devil Dog out of Georgetown, Texas. Miss Beth Jenkins. Devil Dog do a fantastic job demonstrating not only the Doolittle Raid, the role of the B-25 plane, but also their squadron commemorating the role of the Navy and Marine using a modified variant of the B-25. Ladies and gentlemen, direct your attention over to the right of show center. Beth Jenkins and Devil Dog. This is the photo pass. Cameras ready. Let's give Devil Dog and Miss Beth.
Let's go! Alright guys, as you just saw, that was the Devil Dog bluish B-25 miniature that you just saw.
From World War II in Korea. To the left.
Alright guys, here comes the B-25 or 29 Superfortress.
Dock on departure roll. Listen to those great big engines, the amazing propellers in this huge aircraft. We're going to talk a lot more about that airplane here shortly. We're also going to get to see it fly with Devil Dog. Slightly to the left of center, Dock on departure. Circling around to get joined up. Let's backtrack just a little bit to the B-25 story. In 1943, North American, the B-25's manufacturer produced more B-25s than the Army Air Corps could use. The Navy received approximately 800 of those airplanes. Being excess to the Navy's needs, they were provided to the Marines to satisfy their need for a medium bomber. Ladies and gentlemen, here's another fantastic pass from Beth. Just underneath the sun there, from the right. Dropping the atomic bomb into the Pacific War, ended World War II in effect. B-29s had a lot of other roles before they dropped atomic bombs. High altitude, long range, strategic bombing was one of them. They're now docked. B-29 from the right, high, get a great look at what that profile looks like as those crews would roll out, as you see the aircraft doing now. Level, straight and level on a flight. Radar navigation, high altitude, strategic bombing would look something just like this. Talk a little bit more about B-29s, but ladies and gentlemen, that B-29 right there is one of only two. Yes, two. There are only two flying copies of the B-29 today, and that's one of them. Doc, based out of Wichita, Kansas. We are so fortunate to have them here with us at the Rose City Airfest 2022. The World War II, into World War II technology for strategic bombing. When you think about the B-25s and the B-17s that often flew with B-25s and B-24s, used in both theaters, primarily in Europe as well as the Pacific Theater. In Europe, our strategic bombers, B-17s out of the 8th Air Force primarily, but also B-24s modified to escort our fighters all the way to Germany. Did we achieve air superiority to the European theater? Now the B-29 coming from the right, you get to see it a little bit lower and closer. Get a great look at these four spectacular Wright 3350 engines, putting out 2,200 horsepower out of every engine. Said a minute ago, ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited to have Doc here this weekend. You have the opportunity, you too can get a ride on this historic aircraft. Again, it's only one of two. Get your cameras out, ladies and gentlemen. The sun is to your right, the aircraft are to your left. The lighting is absolutely spectacular. The folks at the Rose City Airfest ordered the perfect clouds. The professional photographers here tell me that the clouds make the perfect background for airplane pictures. And here they are, the B-29 and the PBJ-1J. That's the last pass for Devil Dog. Let's give them a huge round of applause.
Yeah!
That takes that airplane, circles around, gets ready to land. Doc will made up that squadron. In 1956, Doc was given to the Navy, and it became a missile target at China Lake Naval Air Weapons Station in California. It then spent 50 years on the desert floor in California. Doc was rescued by a man named Tony Mazzolini and brought back to Wichita in 2000. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, after 50 years, rescued from the desert floor, the B-29 known as Doc.
This is a very nice, awesome airplane, guys. B-29 Superfortress. Let's go. Alright guys, as we get the B-29 Superfortress to do another low pass, we got the Cessna Skymaster that is taxiing to the runway for it to take off. And let's not forget about the Cessna 001 Bird Dog that's also taxiing right behind it. Alright guys, here it comes.
Glamorous and tough. Here's a B-29 pilot, measuring the distance between pin centers on the left landing gear. This part of the job isn't so glamorous, but it's the
Yes guys, you can barely see the LEDs and strobe lights that the airplane itself upgraded. So
if you're a B-29 pilot, here's exactly what you have to do before
sorry about the blurriness.
Check the nose for you.
Whatever.
See that the tires are inflated to 45 to 50 pounds per square inch.
And there it goes guys,
While
the
measuring
Cessna
the
Bird
pressure,
Dog.
look over the tires for general condition also. Watch out especially for a couple.
Alright guys, another pass with the B-29 Superfortress.
College on your way to the other mainland.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, taxiing in front of you is Devil Dog.
And here comes Devil Dog, the 29 B-25 Super Mitchell, let's go!
Hand waving at us. Great job.
Woo!
So much. We appreciate you being here.
And
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Doc one more time.
yeah, baby!
Doc was restored to flight in 2018 and has since logged more than 400 flight hours over 6 tour seasons. Doc's mission is to operate as a flying museum to honor the men and women who built, maintained, and flew the B-29 to protect our nation's freedom. Fortress was the first all-electric airplane and the first pressurized high-altitude
Okay, here goes the
bomber.
T-37.
During its wartime configuration, the B-29 could fly between 12 and 15-hour
Tweety
missions,
bird.
taking off mostly from Tinian and Saipan Islands to deliver bombs to mainland Japan. In today's configuration, Doc's full
Here
fuel
comes
load
another
is 50,000
taxi
gallons of
pass with the B-25 Mitchell, guys.
Be sure to wave at Doc as he comes by, along with Devil Dog, right behind him.
Oh yeah, B-29 Superfortress, yo! Woo!
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Only here at the Rose City Airfest will you get a B-25 taxiing in front of you and a B-29 flying behind it. That is a once-in-a-lifetime photograph for you right there. Now, Doc burns about 450 gallons of fuel per hour. Now, think about that when you go down the street to fill up your dough as Doc. We're so excited to have it here with us. There's nothing like it anywhere in the world. You can see Doc circling low and to the left as he brings it back by. We got to hear some very unique audio from back in the day, with the description of the flight crew and the pilot and all the things that they're looking at as they fly the B-29 and get it ready to go. It's just absolutely amazing to me that this aircraft sat initially as a target and then left to just sit in the desert in California for over 50 years. Thankfully, it was rescued. It was brought to Wichita in 2000, and it took hundreds of volunteers, more than 450,000 volunteer hours, to restore this warbird. Most of you know Wichita.
Alright guys, another pass with the B-29 Superfortress, let's get it!
There between Boeing and Cessna and Learjet and all those. A lot of those folks volunteered their time to create this aircraft. As you see it here today in its restored fashion,
Look at the smoke coming out of the
spectacular,
Bird Dog.
polished exterior. The B-29 is just absolutely spectacular here in North Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, behind the control tower, slightly to the left if you look at the control tower from here, coming from behind, this is the B-29 we know as the...
Let's go, Doc! Woo!
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's give them one huge round of applause. That is absolutely going to be spectacular. You won't see it anywhere else but right here at Tyler. We are so excited. Now, the crew painted like an A37. You may be going, what's the difference between a T and an A and what the heck's a 37? We're going to talk a lot about that here in just a few minutes. So we've talked about World War II. We've talked about the Doolittle Raiders. We made our way into the Korean era with the B-29, high altitude strategic bombing. And we're going to very shortly make
Alright guys, you just saw the, sorry if you missed it, but there was the T-37 20 or Tweety bird that took off. And here comes the Cessna Skymaster, y'all.
Departing here to the left. Kids, I want you to look at that airplane. Tell me where the engines are. I'm going to ask that later. So there is a test. So everybody under the age of 99, there will be a test for you later if you can tell me where those engines are when we get back. And if you can now direct your attention towards the Tyler Airport Terminal, straight to the west, runway 4, you can see Doc, the B-29, lined up on final, about to land. Watch as they set that aircraft down expertly. Mr. Mark Novak and his crew bring that aircraft back. We're going to taxi him up real close to you here at the front. And those of you here along the front, the crowd line, Mr. Stephen Covington is walking along. He's signing autographs for kids. So be sure to give him a high five, tell him thanks for what he does. This is awesome. We appreciate you being here. He's off on a very short distance. That aircraft didn't get airborne, even with the wind sort of behind him, not on his nose, in about 400 to 500 feet. Absolutely spectacular. We're going to talk about the role that his aircraft played.
All right, guys, here comes the bird dog.
T-37, T-37 that we saw depart just a minute ago. But now, if you would, here, let's get one last really good look at Doc as it taxis off the runway. It's going to turn and come towards you and head for the taxiway. This will be a great opportunity to see it up close. So while you see the Doc taxi in, we're going to talk about this 01 Bird Dog. The 02 was the black aircraft that we saw depart just a minute ago, and the T-37. These three aircraft played a significant role during the Vietnam War, primarily in South Vietnam, but also in the edges of North Vietnam and even in Laos. Coming from the left here is the 02. That is Miss Karen Brinkley, and she's flying the 02 Skymaster, also known as the Oscar Deuce or the Duck. It's a military version of the Cessna 337 Super Skymaster. The United States Air Force commissioned Cessna to build a military variant to replace the 01 Bird Dog that you saw depart just a minute ago. Now, these aircraft played a significant role together when we had a downed pilot in the jungles of Vietnam, or we had troops in contact.
Back to the rim.
The L-19 and the 01 would be the forward air controller, the observer. He would fly along and detect the target. The 02, which Karen just came by, would be the aircraft that would mark the target. They carried white phosphorus rockets, and they would mark that target for the fast mover that would come in and bring the bombs. High and to your left now, you see the A-37 as the fast mover who would be the strike into the bombing run.
Oh, yeah.
Down pilot.
And
look attention high and low and to the right. You can see Kevin and the L-19 and the 01 Bird Dog. Now this aircraft is incredibly maneuverable, and that's why it was the spotter up front. It's the first metal all fixed-wing aircraft ordered by the U.S. Army. It became the Air Force after it separated in 1947. It's a two-place liaison and observation aircraft. It's a variant of the Cessna 170. It's known as the G4 Breeze, and you can kind of see that how quick he took on and what he does. It was used in Korea and Vietnam. During the Vietnam War, the Bird Dog was used primarily for reconnaissance. Target acquisition and artillery adjustment, radio relay. There you can see Karen bringing the 02 Oscar Deuce back through. Now that aircraft is painted black. As with the civilian version, the Skymaster was a low-cost engine piston-powered aircraft. It has one engine in the nose and the second engine in the rear. How many saw that? How many saw the radiation force on that airplane? Here, one in the front, one in the back. They're coming from the left. Here comes the, painted like the A-37. This is actually a T-37, known as the Tweet. Expertly demonstrating the strafing run to keep the enemy's heads pinned down as we have our down pilot out in front of you. Now back from the left, here comes Kevin in the 01. The L-19 received the name Bird Dog as a result of a contest held by Cessna employees to name the aircraft. The winning entry submitted by Jack Swayze, who was an industrial photographer, was selected by the U.S. Army Board. The name was chosen because the role of the Army's new aircraft is to find the enemy and orbit overhead until artillery or attack aircraft could be brought. Is the name that
Oh yeah.
Karen has given her airplane. You see Karen circling high to your right. She's going to come back in with Still Tiger. It was named that by two men who actually flew this aircraft in combat, who she met not long after purchasing it. Still Tiger was also an area of operation, and the name of the mission flown by forward air controllers in Thailand, South Vietnam, and
Oh yeah, let's go, Miss Karen.
You may or may not have heard me say Laos as she went by, and that's because we may or may not have actually been there where we never really were. But that is where the Ho Chi Minh
There
Trail
goes
was.
the Tweety
and this aircraft
bird.
spent a lot of time in Laos over the Ho Chi Minh Trail. That specific aircraft was delivered in Thailand in 1967 and was one of the very few black O2s that the Air Force had only at that base, which mainly did night missions over the Ho Chi Minh Trail. The O2s would mark north the enemy's truck convoys traveling down the trail to resupply their troops. The marked target would then be blown up by U-26, also based in the same area in Thailand, or other fighters and bombers in the area. Her aircraft was actually flown there by
That's
the
the
naval
Skymaster
forward air controllers
again.
in 1967 to 1971. Karen Brinkley lives in the DFW area, and we're so glad to have her here with that very historic Vietnam-era aircraft. Kevin Miller following there with the O1 or L-19 Bird Dog. You can see those two aircraft much like you would have seen in Vietnam. The A-37 or T-37, we talked about it earlier being the tweet. The T-37 was the primary trainer for the U.S. Air Force for many years. From 1956 to 2009. This
Oh
aircraft
yeah,
was owned
let's
by
go.
Service Air Corps,
Let's go.
nonprofit organization in Dallas, Texas. The mission of Service Air Corps is to provide military flyovers at a low cost to families of veterans throughout the United States. Now here we have the O1 Bird Dog, the O2 Oscar Deuce, followed by the T-37 Fastboat.
Oh yeah.
You notice the Tweety Bird has a high-pitched whine as it goes by. That high-pitched squeal is generated by the jet engine it takes. Painted like an A-37, which is the attack version of this aircraft, this is the Service Air Corps T-37.
Holy
The aircraft you see
smoke!
flying in front of you today is the C model or the Charlie model. That is the export version developed to add combat capabilities for allied countries around the globe. It's served in over a dozen countries in both the primary jet trainer, fighter lead-in, and light attack aircraft. There are only two flying T-37s in international missions during the Vietnam conflict. There were 577 A-37s built by Cessna, and the A-37 or forward air control variant was flown by active reserve and guard components of the United States Air Force. Kevin Miller flying the O1 Bird Dog that just went by is from Addison, Texas. We're excited to have him here. He's flying a 1962 model of the O19 Bird Dog. It says the 305 has a larger growth rate system that is 30.
And there goes the Bird Dog. The Kevin inside.
Coming from the left, you see Karen Brinkley and her O2.
Let's go, Miss Brinkley!
Listen to those twin engines as they go by. If you can imagine flying that aircraft in the dark, engine in front of you, engine behind you, looking through, they didn't have...
Alright guys, that's the Bird Dog, Skymaster, and the Tweety Bird as they continue flying. The A-10 Warthog is about to be next. Let's go.
Sometimes in the front and the back of the convoy, and then have the fast mover come through and light that convoy up. Trying to interdict those supplies before they can make their way south to support the operation in South Vietnam. Now Kevin and Karen both, as we said, live in the DFW area.
Oh,
So they're
yeah.
not too far away. We're excited to have them here. This is the Now's a good opportunity for get your cameras out, ladies and gentlemen. Each one of these aircraft are going to come by in a nice, close photo pass to give you a fantastic opportunity. First one from the left, Mr. Kevin Miller.
Let's go, Mr. Miller!
And support missions that these aircraft played during the Vietnam conflict. Behind above your left stage, you can see Karen Brinkley descending in with the all black.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Yoo-hoo!
Ladies and gentlemen, behind your left shoulder, if you're facing show center. If you look at the C-130, it's just about a button for show center. Here comes the C-37. Great photo opportunity right here. It's going to circle around and give you one more opportunity. Kevin Miller in the 01 Bird Dog along with Karen Brinkley in the 02. Both of that has made their last pass. Let's give those two a huge round of applause for a fantastic demonstration here today.
Woo!
And as you're applauding, get your camera out. The 237 is going to give you one more chance to look at that. Time to run about 4 aircraft. And that will get you to see the aircraft. So much more you're going to hear from the Aerobatic community. Ladies and gentlemen, high to the left, the D-37.
Awesome.
Showing your support to our veterans by volunteering or donating to campaign. Let's give Kevin a huge round of applause as he goes back to We'll have Karen Brinkley come by in just a minute. Take care. The copies are so close that some of the parts are interchangeable all the way down throughout those engines.
Oh yeah.
You see Bill taking the aircraft high and inverted as he goes overhead. Watch now the profile of this aircraft as he descends back down. 10 takes on the end of the wings. He rolls the aircraft back to right side up. You get a great look at that fantastic tribute paint scheme on this Canadian version of the T-33 Shooting Star. behind us.
Oh, there
They
goes
played a
Nathan.
huge role in our pilot training, as did the CT-133. And there goes the A-10. Ladies and gentlemen, you might want to put your fingers in your ears if you don't have ear protection from the T-37 comes by. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? One huge round of applause for this person. That is absolutely spectacular. That is the second time you've seen it.
Here goes the A10 Warthog and the P-51 Mustang, yo. Oh yeah.
Enjoy watching this rare formation of classic and current United States Air Force aircraft on our journey from heritage to life. showcasing the Hog's power and maneuverability in all attitudes.
Oh yeah!
Major Fulton is now positioning the A-10 for a pass down the show line. We'll here perform a double aileron roll. The Hog's ailerons make up almost half the size of its wings, enabling an unparalleled controllability at slower speeds. From the left, Major Fulham and the Gator roll.
Yeah, baby!
Major Fulham is now prepared to swing back around and demonstrate a slow roll along the show line to display the Hog's precise handling characteristics. As he rolls, you will know.
Thank you all the great folks here at the Rose City Airfest for being such amazing hosts to us. It's always a great time to be flying for you in Texas. It's an honor and privilege to bring this great airplane out here for you and do some flying. Thank you guys for hanging out and enjoying the weekend with us. Happy 4th. Attack.
Don't put those cameras down yet. The A-10 is the premier close air support aircraft supporting our ground forces.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, get your cameras ready as Stephen Covington brings the Raptor down the show line for a photo pass. Just another day in the
Yeah, Steven, let's go!
So many of you have actually taken flight lessons, or you've watched just our aircraft flying around here today. You see that all of our pilots fly 3 legs of the What you don't know is that Steven is actually starting his landing sequence right now. Here comes the downwind. There's the base. I bet you haven't seen this before. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Raptor's tail slide to land.
Oh boy!
Straight down from the tail slide, watch as he sets the SRC Airshow's Raptor right down on the runway.
Woo!
Tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, he's still...
All right, he's getting set. He's getting close. Wave at him, tell him thanks for being here. And we're going to get to see a burnout here in just a minute.
Oh yeah! Woo!
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, that's a burnout. There's some smoke for you. Steven, great job.
Let's go!
Speed of sound by Mr. Randy Ball. It is absolutely spectacular.
Alright guys, this is gonna be the last video.
If you haven't seen them, I promise you, you haven't seen what these T6 Texans look like with the spectacular.
Oh yeah!
smoke. It's like anything, unlike anything you've ever seen.
Let's go!
The team flies the North American T6 Apex Texan, originally known as the Texan II, the trainer throughout World War II that trained the majority of our pilots throughout the 40s and well into the 50s. The aircraft is known as the pilot maker, and that loud noise you heard going by, there were two noises. One was the low rumble of that engine, the other kind of a formed in 1984 by Alan Henley and Steve Gustafson. In 2008, Gene McNeely joined the team later, and he was integral in developing the team's sponsor base, and in 2001 they became known as the Aeroshell aerobatic team that you see in front of you today. So ladies and gentlemen, high and to the right, the Aeroshell aerobatic team.
Oh my God, no! Look at them! Oh my God, come on, smoke it out, smoke it out. Yeah, baby! Let's go! Woo! Yeah! Woo! Holy moly!
Okay, how cool was that, ladies and gentlemen? That was awesome.
Yeah!
So before they come back in,
All right, guys, here they come again.
almost dark.
Ah!
Amazing formation.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Of those fantastic radial engines, the Aeroshell aerobatic team.
Smoke it! Smoke it! Come on! Woo! Yeah! Smoke it! Smoke it, baby! Split! Split! Yeah! Oh my God! Let's go! Oh! Oh! Oh, Daddy! Oh! Oh yeah! Yeah! Woo-hoo! There goes the 17 go! And there they go! Aeroshell Aerobatic team! Oh man! Oh yeah! Oh! Wow! Wow! Oh yes! Yes!
Together they make up the Aeroshell Aerobatic team. High to your right.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Now, those of you that I heard in the crowd saw what happened there. They started in a figure four formation. They
Oh yeah! Yeah! Let's go, Aeroshell! Woo! Woo! Yeah, baby! Let's get it! Oh! Oh! Oh!
You can see now as Mark takes the team, he's going to dive them back in towards Show Center and look for the in-trail loop as they come back to Show Center.
Yeah, baby! Woo!
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? What an amazing look. That formation flying is absolutely spectacular.
Let's go!
Watch now, Aeroshell, Aerobatic team.
Oh yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Aeroshell Aerobatic team. If you notice that last barrel roll, while upside down, they put the gear up. Well, most of us put the gear down. They put the gear up, and they're going to circle around to land runway 22. That concludes their performance, ladies and gentlemen. How about a huge round of applause?
Woo! Let's go! Ow!
Is that spectacular or what?
Spectacular!
Folks, don't leave because they are going to land to see the spectacular night show that they've done. You can see that big radial engine up front turning that 9-foot metal Hartzell prop. And you can hear the radial engine as they go by. So watch now.
Oh yeah! Look at them! Oh my god!
Texas. You can see them perform again tomorrow night over Cedar Creek Lake. Same show. We are so honored to have had them here. Give them away to Dave Jackson to begin his next one.
Let's go! Woo! Let's get it! Awesome! Yeah! How about that? Well, guys, that concludes the video of the Rose City Airfest. I hope you really enjoyed it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been our honor to have you
And
here
shout out to the Aeroshell Aerobatic team, guys.
2022. Everything we do.
It has been an amazing, amazing air show, guys. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And comment down below what you think. That being said, Cooling 149 signing out. Peace! Woo!